Okay. I will start the line,
Yes.
and then you wait the appropriate time that you think Doc waits before he finishes the line.
On my interpretation.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Which you claim is accurate.
I'm nothing if not accurate.
All right, so he says, "You remember Clara? And these are our boys, Jules." All right, maybe we'll just come back to it.
It's fifth period. The party's fifth period. Get headphones and hear it. Let me hit that vibrato. That vibrato. Let me hit that vibrato.
Third time's a charm.
Part 3's.
That's it, part 3 of the intro. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Fifth Period, the film podcast hosted by two media teachers, where today we are going back to 1885 to close out our first ever trilogy on the pod. So chuck on your pink shirt, your 10-gallon hat, and your fancy Nikkei moccasins, because we're going back.
Where?
Back to the future! My name is Mr. Brown, or Doc Brown, if you will, and with me as always is...
Clint Eastwood.
Nice.
No, it's Mr. Boyle.
They're going to name a ravine after you someday, mate.
I mean, that's the goal. That's what they aspire to do. But yeah, finishing off the first trilogy on the pod.
know.
Incredible.
We've done sequels on the pod before, but this is the first time we've ever done more than 2 films in a franchise. So...
Wow.
I'm glad it could be Back to the Future. I mean, it was the original artwork for the pod.
Yes.
It's always been a fan favorite amongst us. So if you haven't checked out the other ones, make sure you go back to the audio pod that Wits and I did for Back to the Future Part 1. And then you can check out the video pod that Boylan and I did earlier this year with plenty of Biff's grandma impressions.
Biff! When are you going to be home?
And then you'll be all up to date for this one today. In addition to talking Back to the Future Part 3 today, we are also going to be doing Tantalising Trailers and playing a Western-themed movie mashups.
Pew, pew, pew.
Oh, just like those Colt Pistol sound. Pew, pew, pew. So if you want to skip ahead to any of that, I will leave time codes in the description below.
Hi, it's George.
Hi, it's Josh. Hi, it's Declan.
Hi, it's Amia.
Hi, it's Amelia.
Hi, it's Gabby.
Hi, it's Ashan.
Hi, it's Nina.
Hi, it's Nick.
Hi, it's Fozzie.
Hi, it's Nick. Oh, wait.
Bare minimum, Reese, know your own name.
Who are you?
And Reese.
We are in the graduating class of 2024, and today we are going to be talking about Back to the Future Part 3.
Give yourselves a big round of applause.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Love it. Alrighty, so obviously it is a big intro today. It's bittersweet. It was obviously great to get all of the Year 12s back on, but when they recorded that, it was their final official day of classes before heading into their exam period. So a little bit sad. Lots of really great students that we're not going to get to see again, unfortunately. But yeah, it was really cool to get a group of them in to do that intro. Always very heartwarming.
It's great energy.
I feel like we have to give special mention. We have to give special mention to Reese. To Nick. I mean Reese. Sorry. So funny that Reese got their own name wrong. I mean, that is a perfect encapsulation of the quirkiness of Reese as a person. But also the film selection today was Reese's choice. And so, I mean, it's a great choice. I'm so glad that we got to do it. It's kind of a nice thing too, because Reese actually did our first intro this year with Alice in Wonderland for the pod.
We love a bit of a bookend moment.
Yeah, I'm not as much a fan of Alice in Wonderland as I am Back to the Future.
Fair.
I don't know why. Because they're both great films. Anyway, I did want to just say one more big thank you to the Year 12s. I was fortunate enough to have Year 12 media class this year. A couple of them came along. We had some music students that came along and a few of our regulars from Film Club as well. So a real mixed bag, but it was awesome to have them there. Yeah, best of luck for the next big step, guys. Your future hasn't been written yet, so make it a good one.
Exactly right. All the best, guys. Thank you so much for making that intro incredible.
Alrighty, let us jump in to Back to the Future Part 3.
You're really tempted to say part two.
Part 3.
Just even better.
Well, it kind of does start off with Part 2, because we get a bit of a rehash of the end of Part 2. You can pretty much watch our pod of the last one and then just seamlessly blend into this one.
I mean, they were filmed back to back.
They were filmed
Back to the future.
Nice. And there are so many great details in this one that links to the second one because, obviously, that's the benefit of filming things back to back. We probably pointed out a fair few of those when we talked to the second one, so some of those details may come up again, but they're just really, really cool to be able to go, oh my God, that was mentioned or alluded to or foreshadowed in the previous entry, which is really, really cool. Alrighty, so Marty comes back and Doc freaks out because he's just sent him back to the future. And so he faints with a famous, "Great Scott!"
Hits the deck pretty hard, and the credits start rolling. We'll get into it. Really like the score at the start of the movie as well. Alan Silvestri's, I mean, all of his work is really fantastic, but I really like the tune that comes in at the start here.
Oh, where it's got like Doc's house and
it's
like
really
peaceful
nice.
and nice. Yeah.
There's almost sort of like some Western tones to it, and I think like it sets the table very nicely for the future setting, or should I say the past setting that we're going to get.
We should talk about that too. I mean, tonally, all three of these films are just so different in terms of like the style of them. And this one, you're absolutely right. The Western elements of it come in before they even get back there. Even the look of the house with the rain coming down, it kind of does feel like the intros to those Western films where it has all those like landscape shots and they're
like a little
washed
house on the
out
prairie
and-
sort of vibe.
Yeah, very, very cool. But I love going around Doc's house, a bit of a staple of these films, to pan through a room and show a bunch of different things. You've got all the inventors on the wall. Marty's sleeping on the chair with his feet just sitting on the old hoverboard.
Chilling on the hoverboard. It's pretty good. And then who's going to wake up Doc but old Howdy Doody?
Howdy Doody. It's Howdy Doody time.
It is Howdy Doody time. That's what they say. It's not Bourbon time. It's Howdy Doody time.
It's Howdy Doody time.
Howdy doody time.
Yeah, Doc wakes up. He thinks it was all a bit of a dream. He's a bit oblivious. Kicks the hoverboard across the room.
Yeah, it doesn't see Marty like immediately as he gets up. It was just like, okay, sure.
Doesn't hear the sound. The hoverboard makes a great noise as it goes across the room. So good. So good.
And then he starts recording like sort of a bit of a diary, being like, okay.
His memoirs.
Well, exactly. He's working out what the hell happened the night before. And he's like, oh, I must have, got some amnesia, because then I was like freaking out that Marty had come back from the future.
And he's just casually waking up.
It's like,
in the
hey,
background.
Doc, hey, sorry, we just need to have a conversation. Sorry you're doing some recording, but we need to have a conversation.
He's like, oh, freaks out.
Trips on the hoverboard and then into the piano. And then you can see him sort of playing it behind his back.
Yeah, it's like he kind of moves his way along it and gets to like increasingly more ominous tones.
It's so good.
Calm down, okay? Just calm down. It's me. It's Marty.
No, it can't be you. I sent you back to the future.
Stroke of genius.
I think it's so good.
Look, I would say that out of the franchise, this film, there are some times where the writing doesn't feel nearly as strong as the previous entries.
Fair.
But little details like that, so good.
It's very, very good stuff.
What a clever idea. But yeah, so he basically explains it to Doc while Doc's freaking out. He's like, you can't be here. It's impossible. It doesn't make any sense. And closes the door.
And then Michael J. Fox is just cooking in this one.
It does make sense. I did go back to the future, but I'm back. I'm back from the future.
And this goes this, and I got the book from Biff, and then I go back, and he's just going really fast. And then Doc, it's like, I can't believe it's just like, that's a fascinating story, future boy.
It's like, how would you know any of this? Because you sent me a letter. And he flips it up. And I love Doc's eyes just go up to the letter. It's so good.
He thought he was probably going to die.
Yeah.
So Marty just like,
Wha-bam, he says with the letter. And we get Doc reading the letter. He's got the big magnifying glass. It's a real Honey, I Shrunk the Kids moment with the mouth being magnified.
More like Honey, I Shrunk the Words. Jeez,
Nice.
all right.
Honey, I enlarged my mouth. No.
Honey, I blew up my mouth.
There it is. There it is. It comes back around. And so basically, the letter explains that Doc was sent back to the Old West, 1885. I love that they do it in nice round numbers.
So helpful.
It's really helpful for trying to
Continuity.
remember it at trivia, I'll tell you that much. And he has buried the time machine. He's stuck there, but he's quite happy living out his days there. He's buried the time machine
As a blacksmith.
Exactly. So that they can dig it up and Marty can go back to his own time. Back to 1985, sorry. Whew.
Maybe those round numbers aren't as round as you thought.
that trivia, that's why I didn't do so well. And so Doc and he have to go dig it up and we may have to blast.
Okay, we're off and racing. Let's go. Also, as part of Doc's instructions, he's very clear, do not come back and get me.
Do not attempt to come and get me.
And he wants to destroy the time machine. I think I really like, and I'll talk about this a little bit more as it goes along, but I really love the contrast between this Doc Brown, who is very ecstatic about the fact that clearly he's made something that works. He's still relishing and basking in the glow of his own success. And when the letter from, the future Doc, I guess, or the one that we get to know in the first film, the fact that he's wanting to destroy the time machine.
Nothing but trouble.
Yeah. And you can tell Doc in 55's reaction is like, what do you mean destroy it?
Yeah, like I made something that works, finally, and now you're going to destroy it?
It just shows like this sort
He's
of
got
evolution.
like 5 more adventures to go on before he realizes he needs to destroy it.
Oh, exactly. He's got a bit of traveling to do.
Yeah, it's funny too because obviously they talk about the slightest thing having an impact on the future and stuff like that. And now this Doc is like, man, sounds like this has been a bit of a nightmare for them. I guess I'll invent it anyway.
Oh, well.
Yeah. I mean, he can't mess with the timelines.
No.
Otherwise, they'll skew.
The timeline skewed into this tangent.
I love that they start to plant the Jules Verne stuff really hard and
Real
heavy.
early.
And it's like...
They're in the mine.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, this reminds me of when I was 12 and I tried to journey to the center of the earth.
And again, the 3 letters, just like a journey to the center of the earth. And I'm just like, okay, Jules Verne's going to loom large in this story.
They want to make sure that when he's talking about it with Clara later, you're like, yes, he's always loved Jules Verne. He's talked about it across all 3 films.
And then when you think about it...
Like, oh no, they just
probably
really
not.
crammed it into this one.
He's
didn't they?
talked about it across 30 different minutes of the film.
I love these sets, though. The cemetery looks great.
Yep.
The mine looks really,
looks
really
good.
good. And all their outfits and stuff that they wear throughout this is very cool, too.
Yep.
And so they managed to retrieve the time machine. And as they're loading it up...
We work out the fact that Copernicus can read.
Yeah.
Because why else would he know? Unless either that...
Maybe it smells like him. His bones smell like him.
So yeah, we work out that the grave, because Marty goes back to get him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, cool, no worries." And he goes back, and he's like, "Doc!" Really,
That's what Michael J. Fox does best.
he yells so much in this movie, especially.
Doc! Doc!
It's Doc's grave.
Doc's Andy Brown.
Please don't stand there. And then Marty's like, "Who the hell is Clara?"
He's freaking out about every detail.
It's just a lot's going on. But yeah, work
Yeah.
out that, Doc's been buried there. The fact that he was shot in the back by Buford Tannen over the matter of $80. What kind of future do you call that? And then, has been remembered by his beloved Clara, who we don't know.
Yeah, I went off on a bit of a skew last pod talking about some inconsistencies with the time travel law. Again, none of the inconsistencies in this series bother me, like in terms of I still enjoy the films a lot, but I would say Clara is the big plot device in this one that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. For starters, the only reason they're there to save her is because he's showing Marty the ravine that they're going to go back across. It's like, well, Marty isn't back there yet, so he would never have met her and she would have fallen into the ravine.
Correct.
So.
Oh, whoops. Whoopsie.
But yeah, so they decide they're going to have to go back. They go to the library and they look up to confirm that it actually was him. It's interesting too because I feel like it was in the second one we saw a photo of Buford Tannen when they were looking something else up as well. When they're looking up like what happened to George McFly.
No, they look at when it's the Biff documentary at the museum.
That's right, and it comes up with the photo of him. And again, another thing that's really cool about doing them back to back that they can put little details like that. Even though that version of Buford's got his long flowing
it's a little bit
rock
different.
star hair. But yeah, so they see Buford Tannen, so good that Tom Wilson is back to play Mad Dog. I adore the fact that they made that call because it just wouldn't be the same without him.
No,
it's so good.
He's brilliant across all the films, but I think this character is what he probably relishes the most. I think like young men growing up that like playing cowboys and Indians and westerns and stuff like when they were kids, and he probably relished this quite a lot. I like the fact that this is a real like product of the time. The fact that like he's killed 12 men, but then they don't count Indians or Chinamen.
Yeah.
I was like, because they're not even a statistic back then. So I was like, okay, that's brutal. And the fact that they stopped counting because he shot the newspaper writer.
That's a fun gag.
Yeah. And I was like, that's pretty good.
There was something about this scene that was really weird when I was watching it last night. I watched it on binge. Even though I have the DVD, I watched it on binge.
Yep.
And there's an extra shot in there that wasn't in my version. This was something I found out when I was editing last week's pod for Chamber of Secrets. I didn't realize there's a cut of the film that's an extra 13 minutes long.
Right.
And the version of the film I was using to intersplice into the pod was that extended version and had some scenes that I'd never seen before, including some extensions with Lockhart in the classroom.
Oh, there you go.
So,
you did want more of him in the classroom, and asking shall receive.
So true, so true. But yeah, same sort of thing. There was just a random bird's eye shot of them in the library. It looks like they're on a little board game walking around.
Yeah, I was watching it, so I watched it on binge as well. I was just like,
I don't remember ever seeing
new.
that shot before. Yeah. It's a weird one to put in, and it kind of took me out of the film too, because the choice of shot was odd as well.
Yeah, it wasn't. They didn't need to do it.
No.
Bobby Zemeckis didn't need to do that.
Nah.
But what did need to be done was Michael J. Fox pointing out that he's a handsome-looking guy. Well, he looks like his great-grandfather, a photo in the book.
Handsome guy, played by me.
Pretty good-looking guy.
And he asks, could it just be someone else or a relative or something? He's like, no. Before my family came here, they were the
Von Brauns.
The Von Brauns. But still, surely Brown's got to be a pretty common surname. It could be a different family.
It could be, but apparently not. But then they find a photo of Doc at the clock tower, or at the clock before it becomes on a tower. And he's like, that's me! Me!
It's me!
And Marty's like, well, I'm going to
That's
go
not gonna
save you.
happen. I'm going to go get you.
Then I'm bringing you home.
Where best to kick off a time travel adventure than a drive-in?
Oh, I love it. Like a
So
50s
good.
drive-in. So good.
Oh, yeah. Out in the desert and everything.
Yeah, Doc picks out Marty's outfit, and boy, is it good.
It's loud. It's garish.
You and I both said that if we'd had the time, we would have rocked up in that outfit today.
I was literally looking on like Amazon when we were on Friday. I was like, can I get it? No, it's going to arrive on Halloween.
Yeah. I mean, you should have just got it for you. We're out in the town.
Yeah, I just might wear it to teach in.
Was it listed as authentic cowboy outfit?
I can't remember the listing. I'll find the screenshot and I'll insert it right here.
Clint Eastwood never wore anything like this.
No, definitely didn't wear the electric blue and pink with the atoms.
He did wear
on the
something
things.
like this.
Yes.
Another detail, too, from the second film. Obviously, Biff watching the Clint Eastwood film, so kind of already sets up Marty's name. Yes. It shows the look that he has with the poncho, which actually wasn't a super common look in Westerns, but because it was so iconic from Clint Eastwood wearing it, that's what they modeled Marty's outfit on for this one. So, yeah, just some really, really fun details across the films. But this is your favorite part with the hoverboard, where Doc says that he's bring your flotation device along. And what does he say?
Hoverboard.
Just like,
I've got it. Don't worry. I got it, Doc. I got the hoverboard.
It's his iconic move. He did the same thing with the letter.
Hoverboard.
I got it.
Just like I've got the things.
Yeah.
And we don't really see the hoverboard again until the end of the movie.
Hey, it's vital.
I mean, it does become vital.
It stops being a hoverboard and just becomes just a flying machine by that stage. Some good siege. Some good siege and green screen.
Ooh, but anyway, it's time
We'll
to
get there.
it's time to go back. They've fixed up the time machine. It's all ready to roll.
But they can't go there. He's going to crash into those Indians.
But Mr. Brown, you're not thinking fourth dimensionally.
Right.
Right.
In 1885, those Indians won't even be there. Such a good gag.
It's pretty good. We get a nice little IO Silver from
IO Silver.
Away! I was just like, that was just an excuse to go back and watch When Nature Calls.
Yeah, of course. Good. With the away.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Very good, Ace.
Hey ho, Silver! Away! Hey ho, Silver! Away!
So he goes through the wall, and then Indians.
Yes, immediately he sees the fourth dimensional Indians.
And this is the beginning of Marty commenting on everything that happens in the film. We see it visually, but Marty says it every time. So he says, Indians! And they, shit the cavalry! And he's like, oh, I ripped the fuel out. It's like everything that we can quite clearly see in front of him,
even before,
he says out loud.
Even before the cavalry sees in the rearview mirror, what does he see? The cave! Just in case you weren't sure what was going on.
It's so good. And he does it for the whole film, and then he passes the baton on to Clara at the end when she picks a time machine. So funny. That's the kind of rule I tell my junior students. It's like, no, you can show, not tell in a film.
I'll do both.
You can do both. Robbie's a mech. He can do both. And that's some of the areas where I'm like, maybe the writing's not as polished as it was in some of the previous entries.
Agreed. One thing I never understood about this is like, the Indians are very confident and comfortable with like a very random object going towards them.
Yeah.
They've never seen a car before, let alone a DeLorean, and they're just like, nah, we're just going to keep riding.
They're more confident than the Peabodys from the 50s.
Oh, exactly right. They are. They're terrified.
Looks like an airplane with no wings.
It's already mutated into human form. Shoot it!
Take that, you mutated son of a bitch!
But yeah, Marty just constantly, he's just yelling so much.
Oh, yeah.
Ah! It's like George of the
Run
Jungle.
away from the bear, throws his boots on, legs it. That fall down the hill, though, that's a stunt.
That's incredible.
Really good.
It looks like he's dead.
Yeah, and then when he hits his head, and that's Michael J. Fox. There are some really great moments. We'll get to it more towards the end with the train and stuff like that. But there are some really good stunts where you're like, that is clearly the actor.
Yeah.
They're not doing any face replacement or anything like that. And you're like, yeah, I really wonder how they did a lot of it. I didn't actually do too much research behind the scenes. I knew a lot of the fun details and stuff already, so I didn't look into that. But yeah, maybe I'll have to check out some of those behind the scenes deets.
Yeah, but no, really good stunt. Like, yeah, he hits that fence at serious velocity.
Hard.
And well, it's a good. What's going to happen? But he's got some familial help.
McFly's there. Maggie, fetch some water. We're gonna hurt man here.
Good.
We're gonna do our Irish accents.
Irish accents.
So good.
Out of boots. We're hot.
All right, so this part here makes no sense. I'm going to go on a bit of a rant here, but he wakes
The
up,
wake up gag.
and they do the familiar gag of him waking up to his mum, and it's
Or
like...
to a version of Leah Thompson.
Yeah, to a version of Leah Thompson, and he's like, oh, it's my mum, and I've had a horrible dream, and she's comforting me. You'd think after a couple of times, he'd be like, I'm not going to make that mistake again. But this time, it makes no sense, because it's his dad's side of the family. Why was his grandma on his dad's side of the family look like his mum on his mum's side of the family?
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense, but they just had to rope Leah Thompson in. I mean, they weren't getting Crispin Glover back for it, so...
The McFly farm. You're my.
Who
are you? Why do you look like my mom? Who are
Doesn't make
you?
any sense. He should be more confused once she explains it.
It's like, oh yeah, I'm Seamus is my husband. It's like, why do you look like my
Mom.
Why do you look like my Leah Thompson? But you're so
dear.
Irish.
That's good. That is a quality gag. Oh, dear. So, Seamus is his great-great-grandfather, I believe. And what's the baby's name?
William.
William. So that's
William.
his great.
William.
You look more like my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great.
All right. Are you through?
Great-great-aunt.
There you go. They're looking after him. And Michael J. Fox is enjoying, again, another dinner scene where he's there as two people.
Yes. So, a couple of things that's pretty incredible about this one. The interaction between them.
Maggie!
At one stage, he passes the baby, and they do a really good hidden cut by getting Leah Thompson to walk in front of the camera just as he's passing it over. But the tray, no cut.
No, I was going to say this, there's obviously some parts of this, the tech that we talked about in the last pod of Back to the Future 2, and they were still trying to work out the kinks of it.
Yeah.
But here,
Zemeckis
and the team really worked on it, and it looks seamless.
Yeah,
it looks fantastic.
It's awesome. So, he offers to, Maggie's not too keen. Maggie's not too keen, but he offers to give him a hat and take him into town, into Hill Valley. Yes. And he says the cheesy line, it's like, it's almost like he's connected to us. Look at the way he is with young William.
He doesn't like strangers.
Yeah.
And I'd also as well that Marty introduces himself as Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood.
Yes, makes the decision that I'm taking on the name and the poncho eventually.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah.
Eventually.
This one feels very similar to the first one in a lot of ways. Like, he comes, he's with a family that he's connected to, relatives of his. There's a baby in the crib. He has dinner. And then, he goes into town, and it's like they have to figure out a way for him to get back.
You better get used to these bars, William.
And, a lot of the beats of the first one are rehashed in this one. Obviously, the Western era is a way for it to feel different. But in terms of the plot, very, very similar.
Yes, it's narratively some variations on a familiar theme, which is not bad. But we
like it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly. And Marty has a bit of a stroll back into town on the tracks and does a big
with his doofy-looking hat.
Yes, his doofy-looking hat. And we are introduced to Hill Valley in 1885. Love the shot over the top of the train station. Looks really cool.
The town just looks great. Obviously, a lot of the buildings aren't well established. It's like, that's a good way to save some money on some set building. But
agreed.
It looks great. The idea of having at least a monument that we recognize from a future time with the clock tower being built.
Yep.
Really, really cool. Being built as a courthouse.
Yes, and still keeps that whole central theme of times that are going throughout the three films that it's in how it's symbolized in the clock. He's sort of just trying to work out what's going on and get used to the whole town as everyone in the town's getting used to him and his weird clothes and hat. Literally stumbles into the
old saloon.
Not before stumbling into a bit of poop.
Some poop.
But he does stumble into the saloon where he can barely see over the doors, which is good. Walks in there very Western, even with his pose, he's almost like he's got the guns at his side, which he doesn't own. And
asks for an ice water.
He does. The three guys are at the table as well. I didn't realize that they're all Western actors.
Yeah.
So Pat Buttram, Harry Carey Jr. and Dub Taylor are all famous actors from
with the squeaky
Westerns.
voice. I know him from he did some voice work in Robin Hood, the Disney film with the foxes.
It smarts, don't it, Otto? But Prince John says that taxes should hurt.
There you go.
Yeah. Everybody, everywhere will say you're a coward.
That's the voice. That's very good. But no ice water for
no ice water. You want water? Go dunk your head in the trough.
In here.
Bit of foreshadowing for Doc dunking his head in the trough later on.
This is true. But in here, we pour whiskey.
Whiskey. The steam coming off the whiskey.
I was like, it's going to burn a hole in him.
Oh, yeah. And then, obviously, you can't have a Back to the Future movie without
Hey, McFly!
A skateboard chase parallel. Horse chase this time. Or a foot chase for Marty.
Or a Thomas Wilson.
The Thomas Wilson chase. That's what they call him.
The Tommy Wilson chase. The TFW.
So Buford comes in and he's like, oh, you're not McFly. You sure look like him, though, especially with that dog ugly hat. He's so good. Like, he's having an absolute whale of a time as Buford.
It's the best.
He also says, "What's your name, dude?" And I was like, were they really saying dude back in the 1800s?
What's your name, dude?
Looked it up.
Yep.
Apparently they were. The
you
origin
go.
was from around that time, maybe about 10 years earlier. And it meant you were a dandy. So it kind of works. He comes in his pink shirt and he's like, oh, who is this guy?
That checks out.
Yeah, so I always was like, wow, they're taking some creative liberties there with Tom Wilson saying dude, but apparently not.
This is
It's
actually
legit.
one of the better parts of the writing. There you go. Basically, while Marty's sort of trying to take in what's going on, Buford asks the bartender, have you seen that blacksmith around? And then the bartender's like, no, Mr. Tannen, I have not. And then Marty makes the fatal mistake, or not fatal, could be fatal, we'll see, mistake of calling Buford by his nickname of Mad Dog.
Nobody calls me Mad Dog. Especially not some duty-up, egg-sucking gutter trash. So good. Makes him dance.
He does.
Dance! Marty takes it a little too literally.
Come on!
You could even hear him go, woo! Oh!
He does do a... to give you some context, Mr. Brown and I were watching this video in the office the other day of every single MJ ad-lib or grunt or howl, and it goes for about 4.5 minutes, and it's brilliant.
Oh! So he jumps
does
on
a
the old rickety floorboard and yuckers, bit of spittoon all over you.
Yeah. Oh, I was actually forgot to mention this as well, is that line where he calls him the egg-sucking gutter trash. I didn't see it for the first time in Back to the Future Part 3. Do you remember what we saw it in? The ratings board video from the 90s where when you would get a video from the video store, they would play this at the start with Terminator 2, Toy Story as well, and I think like a Madonna movie as well.
Did we mention this on the last pod?
No.
All right, we were definitely talking about this because we looked up.
Yeah, we looked up a couple of them.
Yeah, the ads, and it was like the classification code. So you had like your G, your PG, and the families wearing the T-shirts, and they're all mixed up. Whoops! The young boys watching an R-rated movie.
That's the newer one, I think, out of the two. This one's like from a slightly earlier one where they're inside a video store.
Yes.
And they're watching like the TV up in the corner of like the whole thing is just like pure nostalgia. Oh, it's great.
It's amazing. And I reckon there was one that had Part 3, Back to the Future, and then one of the alternate ads had the scene in Back to the Future Part 1 where Doc gets shot.
Yes, I do.
But I thought the exact same thing watching it last night, yeah.
That line is burnt into my brain.
It's so
particularly
good.
Followed up with Hustle La Vista Baby as a back-to-back. It's pretty good. So, but yes, as you said, the spittoon, I mean, Buford does a good job to catch it. I think that was pretty good. Good hands.
You don't want to catch it.
You're not really, no. Bit of a instinctual reaction, and then this is slow realization.
Tobacco all over you.
Well, exactly. And he's going to kill Marty, but his gun's out of ammo because he was too busy making him dance.
Yeah, Marty jumps up on the bar in a quick cut. It's like cuts away and then he's on the bar.
And then he's on the chandelier.
They're like, Michael J. Fox is too short to jump on this bar.
Very true.
Just use editing, creative editing. We'll put him up there.
He does, but he escapes, but doesn't make it very far because Buford and his gang are on a horseback, catch up to him quickly, lasso him, and drag him through the streets.
Yikes.
And then, got a new courthouse. About time we had a hanging.
We had ourselves a hanging.
Yep. And they're going to kill Marty very brutally in the first, 20 minutes of the movie.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Michael J. Fox actually was choking.
Really?
I'm pretty sure part of it was that like something went wrong with the rig, or look, maybe I'm wrong. There's tales of this happening in quite a few films. Maybe they should just stop hanging people in films. But yeah, this has come up quite a few times, and I believe this is one of the cases where Michael J. Fox literally was getting choked at the time. So no wonder he looks so upset. That
sounds brutal as well.
It's convincing. But who's there to save him?
A very cool reveal of the long coat wearing basically wielding a sniper rifle ahead of its time.
Well, he's a scientist, so he could design it.
Yes, and I mean, it is a gun that can shoot the fleas off a dog's back at 500 yards, Tannen.
What a line.
Let's point it straight at your head! Head! Christopher Lloyd was watching Marty on set. Was like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to yell more.
It seems to be working.
That's acting. It's when you use your voice to project. So
he shoots Marty down, but also Buford's pissed off at him because his horse threw a shoe.
Who throws a shoe?
Honestly. Good.
Oh. That really hurt. I'm gonna have a lump there, you idiot. Who throws a shoe? Honestly.
Yeah, he's pissed off because he's blaming Doc for shoeing it wrong, and so Doc's like, bring it back and I'll reshoe.
Shut that horse! Well, that's your fault, Tannen. The fact that he also...
No, wrong! It's yours!
And he busted a perfectly good bottle of Kentucky Red Eye. Yeah. So he's broken a bottle of whiskey.
He's charging him for the whiskey and for the... and in classic Marty fashion, that's $80. He's narrating the film for us.
I'm going to do some explaining of what that means in
for
relation
those
to
who
the
are following
film
at home, that's $80. The same as the gravestone.
That's the matter of $80. That's Buford Tannen. They must be connected. I'm here on the right day. Back to the Future Part 3. I'm Michael J. Fox.
Brilliant. Perfect summation, Marty. And so Buford's upset, and he's like, you better watch your back, mister. That's what he says.
You watch your back, mister.
Mister, you watch out.
I'm going to shoot ya.
I'm going to get ya.
I'm going to get ya. I'm Mad Dog. Oh, rough. That's what he says.
Oh, dear. So he leaves, and Marty and Doc reunite.
It's pretty nice.
Marty!
He's like a disappointed dad.
Come here. So good.
It is good to see you.
What idiot dressed you like that?
You did. Because there's another you back in another time.
The other you dressed me like this, and then the other me did to the other you, and they're going back and forth, running up to the camera.
My ranking for these films always changes, but I really like this.
This was my favorite as a kid because I loved the Western setting. Yeah. I
really like this film, and I appreciate a lot more the fact that it positions Doc as a much more active character in the movie. Gives him a lot more to do, a lot more character growth, but immediately portrays him as a much more confident figure. And it's rather than the other way around, quite often Marty leading Doc around, it's the other way around in this movie. And I really like that sort of switch in the dynamic that they've got.
Yeah, it makes sense that he's more confident. We don't spend, in the first film, we don't spend really any time with this Doc. He gets shot pretty quickly.
Yep.
And the other Doc wouldn't be confident because he's inexperienced. He's never made anything that works. And so he's playing catch up. So yeah, it totally makes sense that Marty is the more confident one. Plus you've got that dynamic where George isn't confident in the first film as well. So it really makes Marty seem super confident. But now you've got Doc in a world where he's like, I know a little bit more about this world than you do. I've been here for a little bit longer as well. I've kind of found my place in this world. So it totally works that he's helping Marty and coaching him through it.
100%.
So he gives him a new outfit,
the
old poncho, and he makes him a iced tea. It's a refrigerator. So good.
Refrigerators make ice, and you made this because you're a scientist.
I'm Marty
McFly. I've got a poncho that makes me more look like Clint Eastwood.
From the other film we mentioned Clint Eastwood. Exposition Marty, my favorite kind of Marty.
My favorite of the Martys.
It makes sense though that would be one of the first things he'd invent when he went back there.
It's hot.
It's hot in here, God. For extra
If you couldn't tell.
Yeah, I'm so glad I'm in my polar fleece. You're in your woolen suit. Perfect.
Great.
Perfect. It's soaking up all the sweat.
It really, really is. But yeah, the mayor comes in. He's like, you got to pick up a teacher from the train station.
You got to pick up a teacher, am I right? Pick her up with your pickup lines.
The old Dr. Riz Emmett Brown.
Dr. Emmett Riz Brown.
Riz Brown. That's what they say. But they work out that the teacher is Miss Clayton, Clara Clayton. And then
Marty.
Doc's face is like, oh no.
Because Marty's like, hey, he's a Marty. The idea that I would fall in love with someone at first sight. Preposterous, man.
Yeah.
Preposterous.
And Marty's like, oh, it's like getting struck by lightning, which is a common
Marty!
theme in this movie.
Don't say that.
Please don't say that.
And then he keels over. That's the cut I watched. Credits.
Perfect. So they're ready to go back in time. It's like,
Yeah,
well,
but-
if I don't go to the train station, not going to meet her, not going to fall in love. Let's just get the hell
It's
out of
fine,
here.
but there's a big problem.
There is a big problem.
And Marty doesn't realize because Marty's an idiot.
He's just like,
What an idiot.
That's all good. We got Mr. Fusion. I'll be all right. No worries, mate. Let's just get in the car. That's fine. Yeah.
But no, Mr. Fusion is just for the time circuit.
Mr. Fusion works fine. The problem
that's to replace plutonium.
yes, Marty is like,
The car
sorry
still
guys,
runs on gasoline.
we ripped a fuel line. We're going to get it some gas. And Doc's like, there's not going to be gas around here for at least another 70 years.
They need a gasolina. Gasolina.
Gasolina. They do.
I know all the lyrics to that song.
Those are all the lyrics.
Yeah. Gasolina. So they got to experiment with some ways to potentially get the car up to 88 miles per hour.
And they try the horses.
Horsepower?
No.
Don't work.
Low horsepower.
Low horsepower. Then they think, oh, maybe we could drop it down a hill. And say, no, we'd never find a flat enough surface. We'll wait till winter. Winter, Doc, it's Monday. It's in 5 days.
You get shot on Monday. All right.
Am I yelling loud enough, he says.
Am I giving enough information in the movie?
Winter, Doc, what are you talking about? Monday, it's 3 days away.
I just love that Doc's like, okay. He's like, I'm
Right.
brainstorming. It's your fault.
You're
broke
an
the gas
idiot,
line.
Marty.
Jeez.
I don't care
give
how much
me-
information you provide in this movie. You're still an idiot.
Give me but 5 seconds, my dude, he says.
And then he gets those 5 seconds when he's interjected with a lovely little train horn.
Woo!
Good.
Thank you.
In,
Practicing all night.
in the background of the shot, and they work out that the train.
And he does that thing where he goes...
He looks,
around to
he
it.
looks like a clown that you drop ping pong balls in and at the Royal Melbourne show.
That's the classic Doc look from the first film.
The train is the option, but they try to talk into the train driver about how fast they can get it going. And it's, if you're getting it hot enough, and I'm talking about hotter than the fires of hell itself.
Well, then, yeah, I guess you could get it up there. He's got that old-timey prospector voice.
He really
little
does.
squeaky voice.
A little bit a little bit of optimism. It's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, they work out. Okay, cool. This is the time to do it. That's fine.
They gotta go check out. They need a straight line of track, so they go check out where the train line goes. But unfortunately,
What's Marty not doing again?
he's not thinking fourth dimensionally. Right.
Right, I have a real problem with that.
He's so sick of it.
He's like, oh my god, I'm gonna punch you in 4 dimensions, Doc Brown. God damn, I'm gonna throw you up. It's gonna be really Brown Ravine. In a
Brown
second.
Ravine. It doesn't sound as good, does it?
No, it doesn't.
That's why I will never have anything named after me.
Just because of that.
Yeah, it's yuckers. Anyway, so he's like, in 1885, the bridge will be finished. Not a problem. This is a long enough stretch. We're all good. But they're not all good.
1985.
Did I say 18 again?
You
My
did.
goodness. A lot easier
It's
for them
definitely
to
not
travel to
finished in
1885. They just take a step. We're here. So Clara comes roaring over the mountainside. Her horses are out of control. And this part was when I made the note about, like, stylistically, they really do capture a Western.
Yes.
This feels like a really good intro into, like, the world of the Western.
A little
with,
action
like,
sequence.
oh, yeah. Yeah, get them horses.
We've got
Go
the
on, get them, boy.
stagecoach. Yeah.
Get them. And then they save Clara right before she tumbles over into the ravine.
Yes,
Yeah.
they do, and they save her in a really large hat that keeps covering her eyes
Yeah.
constantly.
Look, I love Mary Steenburgen.
And
She's amazing. I think she's great, especially in Curb Your Enthusiasm. So good in that. But I don't like the character of Clara Clayton. Golly, she's just like
The golly's
Her
great.
delivery of a couple of the lines is very frustrating, and It's not even her fault. It's the way the character's written and the fact that obviously she's in this impossible situation. So the whole time she really feels like she's just being kind of like strung along with it.
A little bit.
How she made it onto the DVD front cover, I'll never know. Jennifer's never made it.
Oh, she's a bit more central to the plot, I guess.
Well, it's also because part 1 has one person, part 2 has 2 people, and part 3... Who
That's
are they going to
three.
put? The train guy?
Mad Dog.
Well, yeah. I
Mad
think
Dog
you could
standing behind him like,
they're all just there.
we hate
We're
each other
all
in the movie.
friends. We're all
Bang,
friends.
you're dead. I'm Mad Dog. Oh, I'm such a Mad Dog.
But in
Oh.
terms of importance, it would have made more sense for it to be Mad Dog.
I think so. Just should have put both Doc Browns on there.
Yes. Yes, I
That
would have
would've
loved that.
But
Or
yeah.
they could have put Marty and expositional Marty.
Expositional Marty with him pointing and like a caption being like, "These are the characters in the movie."
Amazing.
But yeah, Clara and Doc immediately fall in love.
Yeah. So good.
But yeah, I just wrote down, I was like, get this gal a hat that fits. Jesus.
Yeah.
Because it just keeps slipping down her face while she's trying to have a conversation, just getting in the way a little bit.
Maybe
And-
she'll get herself a new hat.
Yeah, Seamus is just going to cover in town. You need a new hat. You need a new hat.
Everybody gets a new hat.
That's what he says. But this, we talk about the fact that Marty has to keep like wondering what's going on, or the fact that he gets the photo out again to double check the name. He gets it out. He's just like,
It is Clara.
oh, that's Clara. That's Clara Clayton.
That's Clara. And you're Clara. And this is Clara.
You're Clara from the gravestone.
Yeah, and then it's like, until she, when she fell into Clayton Ravine. Clayton? Clara? Clara? Clayton?
Oh, no,
Clayton?
Shonash
That
Ravine.
means, and Doc, the frustrating thing about Doc's character in this, though, is that he's so adamant about not changing anything, but also very wishy-washy on that.
But
So this part here, he's like, oh my God, so she was supposed to fall into it. It's like, even if the ravine wasn't named after her, she was still supposed to fall into it.
correct.
You
She's
knew
supposed to
by
die.
stopping the cart that you were saving her when she wasn't supposed to be saved. So he takes a lot of liberties with this.
He really does. It's very convenient to time logic. Because that man just, well, he's been a bit lonely. So therefore the time logic suits him best to ignore right now.
There's a really obvious example of it later on that I cannot wait to get to.
Perfect.
Apparently he feels somewhat responsible for it. How on earth is he responsible for it?
No, he's responsible for the snakes.
He's responsible for the flipper little snake.
snake that spooked the horses. Oh no, we are in trouble.
He saves her life and then commits to a life of doing favors for it.
Yeah, constantly.
Yeah,
I
I
will
fix your
do
telescope
everything.
for free. Jeez, he's smitten.
Make some money, Doc.
Yeah, I know, Jesus. And then you can worry about that $80.
Exactly. Imagine if Clara paid him
$80 and he just gave it to
Gave it to
Buford.
me. Thanks, Doc.
Problem
It's
solved.
okay. Credits.
Amazing.
That would have been good. I love Doc's toodaloo at the front door. Marty's like, what's going on?
God.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
But
You
yeah,
said he's got Riz. He doesn't really have Riz.
He's a bit awkward.
lacking the Riz.
his lack of Riz is the Riz.
That's it. It works for her.
It absolutely does. But yeah, then we get another gag where they go back and it's like,
Building the model.
and he's like, I apologize for the crudity of this model.
Does he say it again?
Yep.
Okay.
But
I
Marty
missed that
cut-
one because I know he says that in the first film.
Because Marty cuts him off and he's like, no, it's not to scale.
Yeah.
It's not to scale.
Yeah, I know. This is the dialogue from the first film.
It's okay. Remember, I know things because I explain every part of this movie.
But I do love that he always has to build a very elaborate model to explain the
incredible.
simplest of plans.
This one is probably the most simple. It's like
Switch the tracks and then you go
and then
back
we
to the
push
future.
and we push it, and then this is the point of no return, setting it up as like, hey, there's probably going to be a little bit of a moment later in the film where they might have to go past that point of no return and want to return.
where we're going to illegally commandeer a train. They got no respect for the times that
Borrow. They
yeah.
said borrow.
Yeah, don't want to mess up the timeline. Just going to drive a train off a bridge.
No worries. This train couldn't be important to history.
Wuckers.
Not at all.
No wuckers.
But their little model, their little session is interrupted by Clara, who's come through. And then I love... Doc explains, like, oh, we're just doing a bit of moral railroading. And Clara's like, oh, anyway.
Yeah.
It's like...
Oh, this is a weird
It's a bit
relationship
weird.
you guys have.
Hey, we're doing
Has anyone ever pointed that out to you before?
doing some model railroading, just like that you got to cover up and everything. It's like, okay. Anyway, here's my telescope.
Speaking of covering up, have you seen A Million Ways to Die in the West?
No.
You're dressed very much like Seth MacFarlane's character from that.
Fantastic.
Not with the tie, but that hat, spot on. In the film,
Yes.
there is a cameo from old Doc Brown. Christopher Lloyd comes in as his character, Doc Brown.
Incredible.
And, Seth MacFarlane sees like something happen in a barn. And he opens the door and Doc's like, and covers it up.
Hello?
What's that?
Nothing. It's weather experiment.
Incredible.
And apparently it was like their favorite day on set. They loved it. Like they were all geeking out about having him there. But
that would have been cool.
I just love Christopher Lloyd doing something like that. Like he loves the character so much.
He does.
You can really see it in his performance.
So good. Doc and Clara, she's showing him like what's wrong with the telescope, and then he's like, when everything becomes clear. And they're about to kiss, but not really. And Marty's like, oh, there's an uncomfortable amount of riz happening.
I'm in the background
of the shot. I'm reminding you I'm here.
Oh dear. So she invites
Marty.
him to the town festival.
Yes.
They weren't going, but she's
Marty-
like, of course you're going.
And Marty's like, no. And he's like, oh, yes, of course, the town festival. What miss it? Oh, yes, I've just put on an accent because I'm trying.
That was a bad accent.
This is my riz. I'm Emmett Brown. I've got riz. Skippity.
But best part about the town festival,
ZZ Top.
Woo! Flip your drummer.
I think that was part of the line dancing song they were doing. Now flip your drum.
Everybody flip their drum.
And then flips over Clara. And she just goes cartwheeling down the street.
I wouldn't be surprised when they're dancing at the fair. It's pretty energetic. You could totally see him just like, flip her over.
Incredible. But yeah, we get the clock tower launch, the town festival. And they're like, oh, it was a really important moment. It'd be really good. And Marty's like, wish I brought my camera. Because that's how you take photos. That's a device they use to take photos, audience. Anyway, I'm going to keep this going all the time. I don't care.
I figured. We're far enough in that I've gotten it. I've gotten it. But the audience hasn't, so Marty has to keep explaining.
Exactly. Perfect. Synergy.
But they don't need his camera because they got an old-timey camera there and they get this old photo done.
When Doc's like,
yeah.
He's doing a hot dog impersonation.
So the reason I created this, so I sewed this myself for a party long time ago. You remember the year where
1885?
In 2015, where the dates lined up
Yes.
with the dates they went to the future.
Incredible, yes.
A friend of mine from university had a Back to the Future party.
Love
that. Went there. The house was decked out. It was awesome. It was really, really cool how they'd set everything up. And each sort of space of the house was a different time period from the films.
Oh, cool.
And they had a Western room with like cactuses and stuff and a big clock on the wall, and people kept standing in front of it taking the photo.
Because of your attire,
good.
did that mean you weren't allowed to leave that room?
Because of my attire, I asked to borrow someone's suit jacket so I could get Marty in the suit jacket in front of the clock instead of in the poncho.
Very good.
Gotta be accurate.
This is true. But yeah, they take the photo, and as I've written down in my notes, banger alert, because Double Back by ZZ Top is playing. Because that's the version of the song. There obviously is a different version of the song that was a lead single off an album that then got used for the movie. But this is the Western old-timey version of Double Back.
I wish
great.
I'd had you there when I was watching. No one alerted me to the banger, and my goodness, it caught me off guard.
Have you recovered?
Only just. Only moments before we started. But a couple of other things at the fair. So you got the shooting range and
the old Colt Peacemaker,
which is really, really good. Got that here. But it's not really a cult. But this is good because Marty's like, whoops,
bang, you're dead.
Yeah, bang, you're dead. He's like, can I try that again? He's like, where'd you learn to shoot like that? 7-Eleven. So good.
Classic.
So good. Because obviously we've seen in the previous film he played Wild Gunman. It is Wild Gunman.
It's a baby's toy.
You gotta use your hands. It's like a baby's toy. I never learned my lesson about picking things up from the front. It's always very awkward to put them back. But one thing about the shooting range that's so good the guy's like, oh, surely you're not too afraid to
Just
like,
plant.
yeah.
I wouldn't say planting that seed. It's driving the seed into the ground.
100%, but we've seen it in previous films. We've seen it bite Marty in the ass as well. The idea of him being called chicken. Mom, I can't let them think I'm chicken. Well, you're right. You're right. That's a great Crispin Glover impersonation.
That isn't Crispin Glover.
That isn't. Yeah, that's why I said impersonation.
Yes, you're impersonating the impersonation.
I'm impersonating the impersonation.
Oh
yes.
my goodness.
But also at the end of part 2, he comes back when Biff calls him a chicken and gets biffed in the door. Biff.
Quite literally,
It
Biff.
says so. We've already seen the consequences of it, but he still hasn't learned his lesson. He's still arcing up every time someone calls him a coward or a yellow belly.
Well, basically, just questions him on his ability to face up to a challenge.
And it works in his favor this time. He gets the old cult peacemaker.
He does. He gets the gun. But I mean, he gets the gun after something particular happens.
That's
But
true.
yes.
That's coming up.
But yeah, he gets. Marty has to go shoot stuff because he's got nothing else to do because. What's Doc doing? He's dancing with Clara.
Old Doc Riz Brown doing the Doc can dance? Well, sort of.
He
He's
can.
pretty energetic. I'll give him that.
He's got a big smile on his face.
Oh,
he's
got
having a great
huge smile on his
huge-
face and a
huge-
huge hat on his head.
Yeah, this one.
This
very
one. That one. Accurate. Very accurate. The other thing too, Seamus and Maggie come to the old fair, and Marty picks up the plate. Frisbee, far out. What was that about? It was right in front of him.
So good.
So good. I wanted to bring a plate so later I could be like, phew, straight to the camera. Maybe I can edit it in. Straight to the lights.
Straight to the lights and turn it back on, yeah. Before they start dancing, because Doc's really nervous, he's like trying to talk to Clara and he's like, you look very nice. And then immediately like looks away but towards the camera and he's like, oh, that wasn't very skibbity. That wasn't very skibbity.
It wasn't very skibbity. That's what he says. No riz on that one.
Oh, jeez, that was a bit Ohio. Oh,
Nobody asks him to dap them up after that. No
Dap me up,
way.
Clara. No, she won't dap you up.
It reminds me of, you've seen Hot Rod with Andy Samberg? And it's like, hey, Denise, you look pretty. What? I said you look shitty.
So good. But yeah.
So on the outskirts of the fair,
Who's going to arrive?
Buford, Mad Dog, arrives with his gang, and they have to get their guns checked by the deputy sheriff.
Yep, but who's... they don't really want to do it, but who's going to urge them to do it?
Hey, Strickland!
Hey, Strickland! Yeah, he's got a 1980s machine gun in 1885.
Yeah, that's what they say. Well, no, that's the drive-by shooters.
I know.
gun. Yeah.
I know. He's got the scatter gun.
The scatter gun. That's it.
He's got the scat gun that goes...
He's also got quite the old Sternbush on his face.
He really does.
Very, very good, and he's already teaching his son discipline. Discipline.
That's the most important thing.
So that he doesn't become a slacker.
No, don't want that. But
Now, fun fact that is quite dark, actually. Not all that much fun.
The deleted scene?
Yeah.
This is grim as hell.
If you've not watched the deleted scenes of the film, you might be wondering why later on it's the deputy marshal that ends up arresting Buford instead of the marshal. Instead of the sheriff, sorry. Yep. That's because he gets shot down in front of his own son. And I reckon he like his last words are something like
discipline.
Yeah, discipline. It's like, I will, Pop. I will
discipline.
I wish I could quit you, he says.
Remember that word, son. Discipline.
I will, Pop.
I do like Mad Dog's men in this. They're fun. I mean, I would love to see Billy Zane or the 3D glasses guy.
Cowboy Billy Zane.
I wanted him to be in a cowboy outfit, but still with the 3D glasses.
Or like a time-appropriate version of the 3D glasses.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever they are.
Whatever that is.
Glasses.
Monocle. 3D monocle.
Oh,
it would just be one red frame.
One blue one.
Two monocles.
Two, sort of defeating the purpose of calling them monocles.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's fine. They're that's good. But yeah, so they check their weapons, except one. Buford's got a little
his little pistol.
Behringer or whatever it is.
Shanghai Nights?
Yeah.
Rathbone nailed Artie with his little sissy gun.
So good. Yes.
That's
Love
all
Shanghai
I could think
Nights.
of.
Love Shanghai Nights.
And so he comes in and he's threatening threatening Doc.
Yep.
Wants
the gun in his back.
Wants to start dancing with Clara.
Maybe I'll just take my $80 worth out of her.
Yeah, he's just yeehawing everywhere. With that fine piece of calico.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, you've underestimated me." Ka-chow! She says.
No, that's not what she says when she kicks him. Golly! That's what she said. Golly!
And then her hat falls down in front of her face. But no, the delivery is pretty much like that. It's kind of like she's being lulled into a sleep. Oh, you've underestimated me.
Sir.
Golly!
I believe you've underestimated me, mister.
What have I now?
He told me himself.
Pulls his gun on Doc, and then Marty's like, "Frisbee, far out."
More like Frisbee far away.
And I love it. It hits the gun, and then Doc goes like this with his overcoat. You do it, and I'll pop the hat off. So good. That's exactly what it looks like in the movie.
With someone coming up behind Christopher Lloyd and pulling his hat off.
They go, "Golly!"
Everyone knows that's the sound that hats make.
Yeah.
Golly! Golly!
A fun detail about his hat, which I had never noticed before. For the rest of the film, it does have a bullet hole through it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Love those attentions to detail.
Yes.
So he misses. He only had the one bullet.
So
and
they gotta postpone.
Forgot to mention another exposition dump. He's like, "You're early." He's like,
yeah.
"Yeah, but by the time this bullet gets you to last time, it took 3 whole days to kill a
two
person.
whole days.
So that'll be Monday at the time that it said on the gravestone."
When you gotta go back to the future at the same time when you've gotta get a train.
And then he turns to Marty, and Marty's like, "Good,
my man.
my man. Tap me up," he says.
Tap me up, mad dog.
My man.
That was pretty mad exposition, dog. Because that's his nickname. We've established that already in the film that he's Buford Tannen, but his nickname is Mad Dog.
Oh my goodness. My goodness gracious me.
Buford Tannen. Buford.
And then Marty comes up and he's like, "Hey, lighten up, jerk."
Just leave my friends alone.
Yeah. I love this delivery too, though. Like, Marty, come on, mate. You're in the Old West. Stop picking fights with people.
Oh, I was going to say, stop using jerk. 'Cause that's why Buford's so confused. He's like, what is that?
Lighten up, jerk. He's like, "Don't you mean dude?"
It's night time. There's no lights. It's darkness.
Is there something wrong with the Earth's gravitational pull?
And then he turns to Doc. Did I say it right?
Man, there's a lot of fourth wall breaking in this one. I'd forgotten how much fourth wall breaking
Back to the
there
Future
was.
3, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Oh my God. Starring Deadpool. Oh, yes.
I'ma shoot you down like a duck.
Like a dog, like in your nickname, Buford. Mad Dog Tannen. And then the gang member turns to Marty.
I want it to be a different Marty, though, not the main Marty. There's expositional Marty behind a bush, just that.
There's Michael J. Fox in a director's chair being like, perfect. Keep rolling.
We can use all of this, he says.
We're going to use all of this, too.
But I like that when he gets the expression wrong, he's like, he's
upset.
Like, he's really upset. "Let's go, boys. Let these sisters have their party."
I got the animals wrong again. Chicken go cluck, cluck, cow go moo. Buford go oink, oink, how about you?
Oh, that broke me. Chicken go cluck, cluck, cow go moo. Oh my God. Oh, so we get one more moment where Marty could have walked away, but ends up agreeing to a duel
Because he gets
Biff.
called Yeller.
And Seamus gives him a good talent off. "You had him. You could have just walked away. No one would have thought the worst of you."
No. But he didn't.
Sure, you're considering your future now, Mr. Astor.
Yes, because they all start chatting to him. It's like, "Oh, I'm really glad you stood up." You get the gun, and then the guy's like, "Oh, I want to know if the gun that killed Mad Dog Tannen was a Colt Peacemaker!
Peacemaker! And
Peacemaker!
everyone's giving him pats on the back. They say,
Fox.
peace, Clint.
Peace, Clint. 2 media teachers.
With 2 media teachers. Anyway, Doc's not dapping him up, though. He's like, you need to stop getting all aggravated every time someone calls you a name.
And how's this as well? The fact that Seamus has a brother called Martin.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, there's another Marty McFly.
Good writing.
Yeah,
Robbie
just really
Cement.
just like, this
Killing
is
it.
the message. Drown in the message.
Yeah, he had a brother named Marty that got himself shot for running his mouth off. So both the McFlys and Doc are giving him a real hard time. And I also love that half the McFly's dialogue is alluding to, like,
The fact that
it's
they're
like we were
McFlys?
connected. Like it had something to do with my future. Oh, I sure hope you're considering your future.
Future. Back to the Future. That's the name of the trilogy.
We need to go back to the future.
To the future. Did I do it right, Mr. Eastwood? Did I do it right, Mr. Zemeckis?
The double thumbs.
The double thumbs.
So the date,
Because
where
the
they
date.
talk about Jules.
And Vern. All
quicker
of them.
that time.
Yeah, a little bit. It's too good. Sorry, guys. Got excited.
Still hanging for that other one.
You'll be waiting.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. But yeah, they're under the stars, looking at the telescope, talking about their favourite author, Howard. He's like, oh, I used to read it as a boy. And Clara's like, well, it came out 10 years ago. That can't exist. How old are you, really?
Yeah, he's talking about 50,000 leagues under the sea. 30,000? How many leagues under the sea?
20,000.
20,000.
He got there eventually.
Well, I didn't. You did. Thanks.
No worries.
Thanks for the assist. Yeah, he's like, when I was a little boy, and he's like, what? What are you talking about?
What are you
she
talking about,
says.
future boy?
And
he's like, no.
oh, I mean, it made me feel like a little boy.
And it's just like, that's a bit weird.
It is weird.
But we're going to kiss now. That's fine. And they have a nice little smooch under the stars. And then I love that Marty wakes up the next day and then kind of looks at Doc's empty bed. He's like, sure hope you know what you're doing. But it's like, I've got the gun and I'm going to start.
I know what I'm doing.
I'm going to do Taxi Driver.
It's so good.
And Dirty Harry.
Yeah, it's a combination of the two.
Make my day, Travis Bickle. And he does.
I do like that fusion. Very, very good. Puts on the hat, puts on the belt, but he's just wearing his onesie with the ass cheek hanging out. Yeah. Beautiful.
Just a rogue. Yeah, I was like, oh, yeah.
It's a real kid moment. I love it. I really like this moment.
Yeah. He's like, I'm being a cowboy now.
Yeah.
I got my gun.
But I would have quoted this part of the film heaps as a kid, not knowing the reference to the films that it was making.
I mean, yeah, I watched Back to the Future when I was probably like, in primary school. It probably would have been like 10 or 11.
Yeah, you shouldn't
I
have
hadn't
been
watched
watching
Taxi
Dirty
Driver.
Harry or Taxi Driver. I still haven't seen Taxi Driver.
Really?
Yeah, I've obviously seen this scene from it, but
Damn.
I've seen Dirty Harry a lot.
Okay.
Good film.
It's good.
Good film.
It was a good film. But Marty sort of walks into town. He's really like brandishing the gun. He's like, I'm Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, I'm not wearing my poncho anymore because you got to see my belt.
I'm packing. I'm
I wish
carrying
I
heat.
wasn't wearing my poncho anymore.
Fair.
Roll up the old sleeves.
But yeah, Doc's walking through town with his jacket over his shoulder. The Clara lavender.
So this is when he warns Marty. He's like, you can't.
Yeah, he's been really arrogant about like, hey, you go.
Did you see me last night? Frisbee.
Yeah.
Far out, I said.
Far out, am I right? But yeah, this is when he's...
But he is wrong, and Doc warns him about blowing his ZZ top every time someone calls him.
Nice. That's a good double back. That's
every
right.
time someone calls him a coward or yeller or whatever, and then starts to warn him. That's how you get in the accident. Whoopsie.
I should not have said
and he's
that.
like, wait, what happens in my future? Tell me about it. And he's like, no, I can't tell anyone
I've
about
said
their
too much.
future. And this is when I'm like, what the hell? This is your friend that you know gets into an accident. You've invented time travel and you can't even do it to forewarn your friend about an accident. He stopped you from getting shot.
That's the whole reason why Marty's come back to tell him about his future.
Yeah. And when he read the letter so he wouldn't get shot, he was like, I thought, what the hell? But you getting
not
in a
this
car
time.
accident, that's important.
It's so frustrating.
It pissed me off because then in the very next scene, after being like, nope, we can't change anything, he's like, now I'm staying. He's like, Marty, by the way, I'm not coming back with you tomorrow.
It's so ridiculous.
You just said you can't change it. Anyway.
Oh, this was all the photos.
I'm not coming back with you. Good luck with your car accident.
That's fine.
And even Marty is like, what are you doing, my dude? He says, what's right? He's touching his heart and he goes, what's right up here? Oh, I mentioned it on the Back to the Future Part 2 pod, but the bandana that Doc's wearing is his shirt from Back to the Future Part 2.
Good.
The one that he's wearing when he travels back. Don't break up with Clara.
And he's like, you're right, Marty. Immediately changes his mind.
Oh, he's flip-flopping all over the joint.
Doc, just, what are you doing? What are you doing?
So he goes to Clara to break up, and her reaction is so good. So good. I've heard some whoppers in my day.
I love the score change, and it's like, basically it makes it sound like his Doc's about to get killed. It's like in Psycho or something.
Oh, I've heard some whoppers in my day, but the fact that you'd expect me to entertain a notion like that is so insulting.
His dialogue too, how he explains it, is also the same way that Marty explains it to him in the first film.
Yep.
He goes, I'm from the future and I came here in a time machine I invented and now I have to go back to 1985. It's like, I'm from the future and came here in a time machine you invented. And now I need your help to get back to 1985.
So then Doc turns to the off camera and Marty's there going, that's the line. That's my boy.
Good callback.
Good callback now.
But look, I like how they flip out in the 1880s.
And just,
they throw themselves on their bed and cry into their big pillow.
Yeah, well, because Doc tries to do like the right thing and breaks up with her without, does the right thing by giving her no information.
Tries to do the right thing by lying to her.
Exactly.
Which, let's be honest, in this case, was the right thing.
Yeah, and then it's like, you know what, that didn't work.
She pushes him. He's like, all right, fine. I'm from the future.
What are you going to do about it? That's what he says. Clara! Jules Verne!
Dear.
That's what he says. But no, she's heartbroken. Mm-hmm. And then what happens when you're a little bit sad? You go to the saloon.
And you hold a whiskey all night.
Yeah, it makes it basically look like he's been on it all night. And then the guy who's the barbed wire salesman.
Barbed wire salesman.
Classic, Western motif.
Yeah. Motif or motif?
Motif? Motive?
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 What's your motive?
What's your motive?
Yeah, that classic motif. The barbed wire salesman.
Pretty sure I saw a barbed wire salesman in
town selling barbed wire.
I think I saw one in Red Dead Redemption.
Maybe. Probably a callback to this. Anyway, so he's like, he mentioned something about his future, and then Doc's like, oh boy, could I tell you about the future. It's like, Doc, my dude, stop ruining the future. You tell everyone about what's going on. Follow your own rules.
Stop following Marty McFly's expositional rules. Yeah, you're going to tell everyone everything.
Exactly. No matter how many double thumbs up he gives you, stop it.
He somehow got 4 thumbs.
And I love. He says he loved Clara. One in a Googleplex.
One in a Googleplex.
Googleplex, he says. Spot on.
One in a Googleplex.
So yeah, he chats to the barbed wire salesman to the wee hours of the morning. And,
they're still there.
Yeah, and he's talking about automobiles.
Automobiles.
Does anybody ever walk or run? Sure they run, but for recreation and for fun. Run for fun? What the hell kind of fun is that?
Good.
Yeah.
Nice. Very, very good. But yeah, Doc's been sitting on the one whiskey all night, but everyone's ready because it's game day. Tannen's ready after they've robbed.
Marty's not ready. He slept in.
He's robbed the pawn set of stage. Marty has slept in and he's in a bit of strife, but
comes into town and
then Doc's acting like he's drunk, but hasn't drunk anything.
Yes, and he's like out of it and everything. Marty comes in.
That's
why you gotta come back with me.
Where?
Back to the Future!
It's the name of the movie, Doc. We've done 2 of these movies already before this one.
Back to the Future! You idiot!
There's nothing left for me here.
All right, that's why you gotta come back with me.
Where?
Back to the future!
In the time machine that you invented!
And now I need your help to get back to 1985!
You've turned into the other version of Back to the Future, Marty and Doc. You've turned into Rick from Rick. You've turned into Morty from Rick and Morty.
I've been looking around here. That's always the line I say because on Netflix it always plays the trailer from the same point.
Oh man, Rick, I'm looking around this place and I'm starting to work up some anxiety about this whole thing.
All right, calm down.
But yeah, Doc's like,
snaps out of it.
Of course, guys. Sorry, we've got to go. Cheers to you all.
To the future.
Amen. Emmett, no. And the one whiskey knocks him out, and I want to know, like, is that
stunt double?
Oh my god! Hits the table like a ton of bricks.
I'll tell you what I really appreciate this. This is a real Western move. The falling without any breaking of it, because like some shoddy stunt work going on back in the day.
It looks like the
table's flipping. Like this is a classic. If you went to like Warner Brothers and they did like a Western, break the bottle on the head and then they fall forward.
Yeah.
Marty's like, how many did he have? Just the one.
Just the one?
So disgusting.
It's just like, Doc, I taught you better than this.
I know.
All the times we got drunk together and talked about the future.
And so, Joey, let's make some wake-up juice.
And they make wake-up juice with like chili and
Tabasco
vinegar and
just looks
coffee
like a Bloody
and,
Mary.
Well, basically it is, yeah. And it does what it says in the name and wakes Doc up.
Whoa! With the peg on his nose.
Yeah.
So good.
Dunked his head in the trough like they suggested that Marty do if he wanted a nice water.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a reflex, and he's not really
ready, but Buford's on the way. And this is literally a line I say in my day-to-day life because I'm never on time anyway.
Buford's on the way?
No. I say, they're like, it's 10 minutes till the showdown. It's like, why do we have to cut these things so damn close? You literally say that all the time. Usually it's my own fault. It'll be like, you got to go out in 10 minutes. All right, I'm just jumping in the shower.
Cut this so damn
Why do we
close?
have to cut these so damn close?
So good.
But yeah, he arrives, and there's some good lines back and forth between...
Who else arrives at the bar, though?
Seamus.
Yeah.
As if his future had something to do with it.
Yeah, what am I doing here? I hate drinking. I hate saloons. I hate bars. I hate you. I hate you as well. I hate every character in the movie. You don't see me interact with anyone except my wife. And this
Why
guy
does nobody in here wear a smaller hat?
Well, why doesn't? Yes. I don't know.
I brought 5 with me if anyone wants to try them on.
I'm a hat salesman. I've pivoted from my life on the farm.
He just doesn't want to hang out at home with the baby.
I've pivoted
with old William and Maggie.
I hate Maggie. I hate William. I hate my life, but I love my hat.
I love my hat. So when Mad Dog arrives, there's some great lines. So firstly, Marty's like, it's not 8 o'clock yet. and then he's like, look, I'm going to have to forfeit. I'm not feeling up to it. Like, what's that mean?
Can he do that?
It means you win without a fight. Hey, he can't do that. Hey, you can't do that.
It's just so petulant. It's great. He's like, I want my fight. I want to shoot somebody. I'm crying.
But I just love, like, surely they wouldn't have written it into the script as he tells his friend he can't do that. Then he tells Marty. So that's got to just be Tom Wilson just killing
riffing.
it.
Just riffing.
Hey, he can't do that. Hey, you can't do that.
So good. He starts to basically put a countdown on him, but Marty looks at the photo. His name it's starting to change and be Clint Eastwood's name on the gravestone.
Mm-hmm. And that's when everyone, you'll be branded a coward for the rest of your days. And then squeaky voice, everybody, everywhere.
Everyone know that Clint Eastwood is the biggest yellow belly in the West.
And then we get the cracker line. He's an asshole. I don't care what he says. I don't care what anyone else says.
And Seamus is like, this is good character.
Seamus is like...
He takes off his hat and makeup to reveal his Michael J. Fox. Is like, I approve this delivery of the line as well. We've had some narrative closure. Oh, whoops. I should say, we've had some narrative closure. I forgot my Irish accent. I'm playing too many characters in the movie if you didn't already know.
Yeah.
I'm Michael J. Fox.
So many characters, so many inaccurate accents.
So little time.
We also get some good lines before he announces that he's an asshole, where they slide the gun along. I love that. It looks great. He kind of picks it up. And like his hat, he's down. He's like, I can't do it properly because his hat doesn't sit properly on top of my head, but it's really good how he looks up. Oh, there it is. That's it. Great Scott! Pew pew, he says.
Pew pew, you're dead.
But yeah, he's finally learned his lesson about not having to buy into people calling him coward. He's like, I don't care. And to be honest, it's not really the right lesson because he doesn't care about people calling Clint Eastwood a coward. It's not his name, and he's not in this time. So.
Exactly. He's pretty easy to pass that off. Just like I used Calvin Klein's name in the first movie because he didn't exist either. It's a bit of a continuous gag that I've done.
Speaking of a continuous gag that you've done, if we had cut all the times that you expositioned, the pod would be half as long, I reckon.
I think so. You're welcome.
It doesn't worry me. I like it.
I think it's good.
And then Doc wakes up,
Finally.
and here's a cracker of a line.
Do you guys have a back door to this place?
Yeah, it's in the back.
And then one of my favourite lines that I completely missed every time I watched this movie, when Doc's like staggering, I was like, oh, the thing I really miss here is Tylenol. It's great.
Very, very good.
Good writing, Zemeckis, you're back.
But they catch him going out the side door that's not the back door, and
in through the outdoor.
And they pew 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 bang bang. They say
your feet are dead.
Doc and Marty get separated. Marty dives into another little, maybe the blacksmith hut, who knows?
Kinda.
And sure. Doc gets held at gunpoint, and they're like, "Well, I wanted to shoot somebody today, and I'd rather it be you. But if you're just too yellow belly." Does he say yellow belly? Yellow? I don't know. Could you tell I really didn't know how any of that line went? I was feeling my way through it. Anyway, we got there. Close enough.
Marty thumb of approval, but just one, not two.
I'd prefer it to be you. That's what he says.
Exactly.
There you go.
Now they get two thumbs.
And so Marty comes out. He cuts it close. Imagine Doc just gets shot in the meantime.
It's like, oh, damn it.
Right here. No. Too late. Too late.
Why are we always going to cut these things so close?
Since you've already shot the blacksmith, I guess I'll just mosey on out. So he goes out, and they have the showdown. Draw! No!
The classic response in a Western movie.
And the cuts to people, and Seamus is like,
"Whoa, that's a bold move. Just saying no. All right.
on.
Cook, Clint, cook."
Right on, he says.
Right on.
Right on. Dap me up, Marty. Dap me up, Clint.
Dap me up, me. Dap me up, me. I'll dap myself up because I'm
That's a good line. It's almost like it had something to do with my future.
It's if the whole future of this movie depended on
it. Oh, so he says no. Then he takes his gun off, drops it. I thought we could settle this like men.
You thought wrong. Bang.
Dude.
Bang, you're dead.
Bang, you're dead, he says. And
Bang,
then
you're dead.
The reaction. He's walking around with the gun.
So good.
His legs are like wobbling all over the place.
Did I do that?
It's like the George McFly laugh from the first one. Anyway, he kicks the gun out of his hand. And he's got a bulletproof vest.
Oh, yeah, because Biff... sorry, not Biff.
Great flick.
Not Biff.
Great
Biffin punches him in the chest. And is like,
oh! And then Marty goes, ha-ha, bulletproof vest. And then, whoop-bam, smacks him in the face with it.
And then punch.
Punch.
What does he punch him into, Mr. Brown?
Bloody breaks the tombstone. And then Marty takes out the picture to check that the tombstone won't still be glued back together. And used in the photo.
with sticky tape on the tombstone. But no, he punches him in. He falls into something else.
Manure!
I hate
manure. What are the odds?
Pretty consistent, because this is a Back to the Future movie.
So true.
And he's Thomas Wilson. He has to.
So true. And Seamus is like, yeah.
Ooh, and he's like, ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, later on.
A little shadow boxing. And then gives him the gun. He's like, you can kill people now.
Maybe I'll buy myself a new hat.
Because that's my common character trait. Is my hat.
Not a better hat. Just another one of these hats to hand out to people.
No, I'm going to wear it on top of this one. So I've got two hats.
Double hats.
Two hats McFly.
It'll be as... That's what they'll call me.
Two hats
McFly. They'll say I'm too McFly for a white guy.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Give it to me, baby. Uh-huh.
Give it to me, baby. Oh, God.
Oh, man. And anyway, off they ride.
They got a train to catch.
But who comes in just as they leave town?
Oh, yeah, because Clara...
she was on the train.
And she overheard the barbed wire salesman.
The barbed wire salesman. I've never seen anyone so heartbroken.
Oh, no. Must be talking about me.
Exposition dumps on
Exposition, big puppy dog eyes, and flowy silver hair. No, he didn't. His hair doesn't
How would you
flow
describe
like...
him? Scary beyond belief. That's him.
Good.
2 Emperor's New Groove callbacks. Anyway, so she jumps off the train. She pulls the thing. Oh, her hat falls down again in front of her head. And she runs off into town and gets there just as the others are leaving.
And doesn't run into anything with her hat down. It's impressive.
Runs into the barn. Time machine.
Time machine.
But no, anyway, our main tour on the train. It's time to hijack it for a science experiment, which is fantastic. One thing I don't understand, why are they disguising themselves?
I guess because they're trying to be convincing as bandits. And so, like, you might not find it that threatening if it's like, you're the blacksmith. But I guess if you have a gun, who cares who you are?
But then they might have been like, hey, Emmett, do you want to borrow the train? Sure, hop aboard.
Maybe they didn't want to end up in any more like history books with their picture or anything like that. Even though they've got a photo that no doubt will end up.
Actually, no, that's a good point. That's quite logical. The fact that they not reported that, or they've even reported the fact that they stole the train or whatever.
So true. So true.
That's good.
The sheriff is dead anyway. It's fine.
But yes, and then we work out that Doc Brown is a man of many traits, but also a man of many hats because he puts on the train to go his hat. Always wanted to do that.
Oh yeah, he did. And who wouldn't? Who wouldn't?
That's fair. But yeah, they
pull away from the cart. They detach the rest of the train.
They've got the wood to make it go fast.
There's Clara on top of the hill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what she says.
That is what she says.
She goes 1, 2, 3. Golly!
Ferroverto, she says.
Exactly.
But these were the stunts where I was like, this looks pretty good. And they get away with it because they do lots of cuts. So sometimes it's clearly a stunt double. I love the cut from the stunt double jumping onto the train to Marty falling on Doc. And so clumsy. Whoa!
Oh, you would notice it's not me. That's fine.
But there are some other ones where it quite clearly is them. You know the one where Marty jumps from one carriage to the next and then he's like, whew.
Does the big sort of jump. He's like, yeah.
Yeah,
that looks good.
Looks real.
And it looks good.
I don't really know. Like there was other parts too where he's in the DeLorean and he's got the hoverboard down. And that looks real as well. So
it all looks great.
Yeah, there's a bit of speed ramping at times. Like you can quite clearly see it looks a little like, whoop, we're moving like we're in a Charlie Chaplin movie, but
or in
Buster Keaton. We spoke about that. Appropriate with him hanging on to the back of the train. But yeah, so they explain the logs and how the three different colored logs will make it burn to a hotter intensity, make the train go faster.
Yep.
But also somehow Doc has a gauge that can be synced up with the logs he threw in a furnace.
Has he built that? With
How?
what? With what materials?
It doesn't make any sense though. It's a furnace. You can't gauge when the logs are going to explode using that. Anyway, I do like all the moments when they're going to explode because Marty waits till the last minute and then he's just like, oh my God, it's going to explode!
Right now.
Poof!
Not in like, hey Doc, maybe in like 10 seconds, just giving you a bit of heads up.
Yeah. He literally has one job, telling them the speed and telling them when the logs are exploding.
And then he keeps saying, why have we always got to cut these things so damn close? The yellow one goes off and that's when she says, golly!
Golly! And then, whoo, he's like,
where did that come from? That sounds like a train. Hang on a second, I'm on a train.
There's no trains around here. So he looks back, he's like, whoo! It's kind of what he does. And so he goes and picks her up. Literally at one point. But,
quite literally.
They're going along the old edge and
he's got to go get it.
The red log's about to blow!
Or they pass the point of no return. So basically has to make calls like, well, we got to bring her with us. Because then she's like, Emmett, I love you. And he's like, just great. Oh, do you know
face. It's a good face.
It's a good face.
And I like that. She's like, Emmett! I love you! It reminds me of Tim Curry in Home Alone 2. I love you!
You gotta do better than that, Clara.
I love you! Anyway, so they're falling and they're hanging onto the biddies, and this is where it looks a little janky with Clara upside down hanging on by the tiniest thread of her dress.
The DeLorean's doing a wheelie, which is great.
Oh, that's great. Whoa, Marty. And then Marty goes to put the hoverboard out.
And then passes it back. It's
ready?
And
yes!
Instantly onto the foot.
It's incredible. Incredible.
Tell you what's not incredible.
the effects as they fly
Oh my
away.
god.
Yeah, it's not even a hoverboard anymore. This is what I said at the start.
magic
it looks like
carpet.
they just fly off into the sunset.
I was like, that can't do
Hi-ho,
that.
Silver! Away!
Doc's
they
not
say.
even pedaling.
Yeah.
He's not pedaling.
So true. And they can go the speed of a train now.
Yeah.
With three flaming logs in it.
What have they upgraded with this damn hoverboard? It's not a pit bull. God.
Keep it. I got a pit bull now. That's what Doc says to Marty. He's like, what about your time machine? Keep it. I got a pit bull now, he says.
I mean, the train at the end looks like a pit bull.
It does kind of look like a pit bull.
It's got the wings of a pit bull.
Oh, dear.
On the wings of a pit bull. That's their famous song.
So anyway, Marty's like, well, screw it. I got to go back. Closes the old door open. Puts on his cowboy hat. You have to. You don't want to get burnt as you're going back in time.
Very sun smart Marty McFly. That's been his big lesson. Not about like turning away from a fight, but you know what? I need better
Always
sun
wear your
prediction.
cowboy hat.
Always.
And so arrives back. I love the transition. So the train crashing in the ravine, in Eastwood Ravine now, when the bridge comes in.
That's
and
cool, What a sound.
Yeah, and
I love it.
The boom gates come down for Marty, and he's going past, and the people are just like sitting in their car, like, what?
And he's just rolling on his like.
Yeah, so good. So good. And then
but-
another train comes, and he's like, struggling. And then in one cut, he's like miles away from the DeLorean.
Perfectly safe.
Perfect.
But the DeLorean's not safe. It's obliterated into a
No.
million pieces, and Doc gets his wish that the DeLorean is
Well,
destroyed.
Doc, you wanted it destroyed. Very sad. And there's the picture of Doc by himself. Because now Doc is, well, Marty's by himself.
Marty's
Doc's with-
Marty's not going to be by himself for long.
True, he goes back to Jennifer.
Or not before seeing his family.
Oh, yeah.
And Biff.
And Biff.
It's like, oh, nice hat.
Hey, back off. Oh, hi, Marty. I didn't know it was you. I really like the hat, Marty.
Still shows that he's got that sort of like element to him that isn't there for the McFlys, because he's like, really like sort of cautious around the McFlys, but he's still a bit of a doucher.
Well, he should still be a doucher, because the last we saw him, he tried to run Marty down with his car in the tunnel. Like, he clearly isn't intimidated after the punch from George anymore, so...
He runs him down in the tunnel, but that's in the 1955 though. That's 30 years of growth.
You think in 30 years he became a weakling?
I'd hope so.
With George perpetually telling him off.
Just telling him off.
Yeah, fair.
Hello, anybody home? Think, Tad, and think. Think, Biff.
Think, Biff's grandma, think.
I can't think. You keep hitting me in my head. I've got no brain cells left.
We have fun. We have fun. So, he goes back, he gets the truck, and he goes to pick up Jennifer, and he arrives. He's like, I remember there being bars on these windows.
I remember there being bars on this bed on the veranda. She's caged
I don't remember
up.
you being Elizabeth Shue. I got to tell you.
That's good.
Elizabeth Shue in the second one's not great, but her lines at the end of this one.
Oh, no.
Atrocious. First of all,
they gave her nothing to do.
it erased.
Oh my god.
Bad. Real bad. And then she's like, it was a dream, wasn't it?
Marty.
Again, I love Elizabeth Shue. Just
Not in
like
this
I like
movie.
Mary Steenburgen, but their characters in this. Big stinkeroo. P.U. Anyway, so they go for a drive, and then, much like Doc talking about reading Jules Verne, Marty's like, that's where we live. That's where we're gonna live. Like, just a bit of tact. Come on, guys.
That's okay. But we get a nice little return.
Needles.
Of all, not only Needles, but also Huey Lewis as well as back.
In the music.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
playing with it in the car, which is great.
Well, again, I thought you were going to say something else. Not only Huey Lewis and Needles, you know how Needles has 3 friends in the back of his car? They are all...
The gang members.
They're one gang member from Griff's gang from the future.
Yep.
One from Mad Dog's gang in the past, and one from Biff's gang.
And none of them are Billy Zane.
None of them are Billy
Damn.
Zane.
None of them are wearing 3D glasses.
He'd moved on by this point. He's
I
doing
meant
his
fair.
Titanics by this point.
What could possibly be funny?
I put the diamond in the coat.
I put the coat on her. Anyway, so he's like, baiting him into doing a drag race. I don't think he says it here, but he's kind of, come on, McFly, don't be chicken.
Yeah, he's definitely, very erratic Michael Balzari performance for sure, a.k.a. Flea from the Chili Peppers.
And Marty's like, nah, I've had some growth. I ain't going to race you now.
Well, he doesn't, he doesn't say that, though.
No, in his mind. No, he says it to the camera for us. Expositional line, he says it to us.
Hey, guys, not to cause any concern, this is the automobile accident I'm about to get into, but I'm going to make a decision because I've learnt from my mistakes and I'm a changed man.
You joke, but he does go, I would have hit that Rolls Royce. Remember?
The Rolls Royce from Back to the Future 2, from that automobile accident when I got called chicken.
It erased.
The car erased.
I don't know if it's any better that he reverses. That seems just as dangerous.
And not even like just reverses, but the turn. And like Jennifer's like, what are you doing?
What are you doing, my dog, she says.
What are you doing, my G?
mad dog.
My mad dog. Oh, don't get me started on mad dogs, Jennifer. I've met a few mad dogs in my time.
So anyway, they go and they check out the wreckage of the DeLorean.
Yes, as you do. But then the boom gates come down.
Yeah, and they're like, there's no train this way. No train this way.
Boom,
boosh, boosh, boosh. And they go flying back.
To the future.
Hagrid, they say.
They do.
So who is it?
It's it's a few different characters.
It sure is.
Sure is, in a lovely DeLorean train combo. DeLorean train pitbull combo because it's got the black and red combo.
Lovely. I mean, it looks great here. The final shot where it's flying is a bit, jankerific.
We'll bag it in a second. That's fine.
But for now, praise.
Praise. Because who's going to come out but Doc Brown looking like a character from, or like a Jules Verne novel.
Jules Verne character, yeah. With his wife Clara and his son.
His boys, Jules and Verne. That's great.
And one of them is pointing to their crotch. I can't remember which one. But someone should have caught that in the edit.
Verne looks terrifying, the blonde kid. He looks like he should be someone.
They both look terrifying.
Particularly Verne, I think. He looks like he looks like a blonde version of Damien from The Omen.
Oh yeah, he does have a bit of the Devil's Child.
I generally looked at like the credits as like, have you been in Pet Cemetery or
you looked at the credits to see are you Damien?
Are you Damien
in real life?
But yeah, the future's not written.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Which is ridiculous again because he just said stop changing things about the future. And then he's like, but now...
Change it.
Change it all. Whatever you want. It hasn't been written yet. So.
I don't care. We're out the window. The trilogy's over. Don't worry, guys. The logic's over.
Make it a good one, he says. And then he's like, and I'm out skis. Oh, and even though I wanted you to destroy the time machine, I made a new one and we're traveling all over the place. Yeah. Causing all sorts of trouble.
Time hijinks. I'm Doc Brown. Somebody stop me.
And off he goes. And it says the end.
Question mark.
It doesn't say question mark. But
it's the end.
It is the end.
It is the end of Back to the Future as a trilogy. And yeah.
Yeah, so a bit of a nice mix of us both appreciating it and bagging this one out.
Yeah.
Look, it is the weakest in the franchise for all those reasons we just listed, but it is still a great film.
Oh yeah,
it's a
we
good
have a
fun
great time.
watch. I was so pleased that Reese suggested it because I was really excited to revisit it. When we did number 2, I was like, should we just back-to-back weeks?
Back to the future?
Back to the future, we said.
That is what we said.
We struggled to say.
Oh, you did. Yeah. That's fine.
So yeah, it was really cool to return to it. Maybe we'll cap off some other film series that we've done previously. I mean, we're slowly making our way through the Harry Potter one.
Jurassic Park, we can finish off.
Yeah.
JP3.
I don't want to do the worlds, but we could do JP3.
We can do JP3 and go, Alan.
So good. I like JP3. The Pterodon Cage.
It's very, very good. But yeah, good to wrap up. One of our favorite trilogies for sure. I mean, I watched the hell out of this when I was a kid. I know you did too. So
glad to be able to take my hat off.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Oh yes. Yuckers. Maybe I'll buy myself a new hat.
Yeah, I'll buy myself a new hat and not wear it.
Nice. Well, shall we move on to Tantalising Trailers?
Yes, we can.
Are you going to frisbee far at it?
Yeah,
Don't hit the camera.
I'm going to knock over your camera.
Please don't hit the camera.
I'm going to frisbee it this way. Right. Tantalising Trailers.
Trailers. Tantalising films. Trailers. Don't know if we will be a fan. How will it be? We'll know
I've really struggled talking about a movie that wasn't a horror movie for the last 2 hours, but I'll do my best to get back into horror mode. But Wolfman got a full trailer.
Oh, yeah, so that is one of mine as well.
It looks great.
Does look great.
Looks good.
I will say a caveat for all three of my films today. I didn't watch all of the trailer. My classic move, because
just in case.
I watched enough to be like, this looks great, and then I was like, ooh, I feel I'm getting too much info, so I stopped.
That's fair.
Yeah, Wolfman, we've talked about it before because of the design of the wolf came out. There was a teaser trailer. We shouted out Julia Garner appreciation because we did Apartment 7A and the Royal Hotel.
Yep.
But this trailer, good.
Yeah, it doesn't look overly complicated narratively, which is good. I'm happy with that. I think the premise is very simple, but is just going to be really good. And I'm
some sort of truck crash.
Yep, and which looks that's like the first shot of the trailer.
Like hanging off a bridge?
Or I think hanging in a tree, maybe.
Maybe. It's very dark, and I watched it in a very sunny room with lots of glare coming off.
Couldn't see anything.
Just the way I like it.
That's the ideal viewing experience.
Yeah. I was like, I'm simultaneously going to see too much and not really see anything at the same time.
Just that's the trailer
sweet spot.
It's the Goldilocks of watching a movie trailer.
So, an initial attack. Not really like someone else gets mauled or whatever, but looks like a family and a little scratch on
scratchy
Papa Bear.
Scratch, and he's going to turn in from a Papa Bear to a Papa Wolf.
Yeah,
it looks like
Papa Cub.
But yeah, it's. I mean, we kind of know where it's going to go, but that's fine because I think effects-wise, it's looking pretty good. It looks like a really well-shot film and really good acting performances, hopefully throughout. And
psyched.
Keen as for another Lee Winnell horror film. So yeah,
nice. I'm going to talk about the monkey. The blue monkey. So the monkey we've mentioned before. Teaser trailer came out. Also worth mentioning, it's by Osgood Perkins, who, what did he recently do?
Long Legs.
Thank you. What did he recently do? He starred in Legally Blonde. Starred in it. He's the main character in Legally Blonde.
In 4 scenes.
So, adaptation of a Stephen King short story. Yep. This trailer looks great too. It looks like most of it's going to be set at like a motel.
Yep.
Little toy monkey coming and attacking people.
Causing havoc.
The thing that I really, really liked about this trailer, it seems like whimsical, like lighthearted music. It looks like it'll be like a black comedy.
Yeah, so I was trying to work out as like, again, it's always hard to sometimes tell tonally about a film, particularly how it's cut in a trailer and then how it looks when it actually hits the screen. So, but yeah, I got that vibe from it that like, dark.
I hope it is lighter. Like that mix of like really dark at points, but jokes along the way. And I mean, it's a toy monkey. It's got to have some whimsy to it.
Got to have whimsy.
But it's got Theo James. I love him from The Gentleman, the TV series. Tatiana Maslany
from She-Hulk.
Yep, really good.
Elijah Wood.
Yeah, so I know Elijah Wood's in it, but I didn't see him in the trailer.
Yeah, just like one shot.
Okay, well, maybe that was after I stopped it. Yeah. I knew he was going to be in it, but I hadn't caught him. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great cast. It looks like they've found a really fun tone with it. Anything additional that you noticed about it?
No, not really. Just that I'm super keen to see it.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. Next one I'm going to talk about is Carry On. It's a new Netflix film that's coming out that stars...
later.
Yes. Stars Taron Egerton, who's playing a TSA agent. And basically he's given some earbuds and he's basically getting held hostage essentially to let a certain object or a bit of carry-on go through security without stopping it, even though there's something bad in there. And the person guiding him through that is Jason Bateman, which I found was going to be interesting because I'm like, you don't see Jason Bateman do a lot of villainous roles, and I'm intrigued sort of by that.
I reckon he'd be good at it though.
Yeah, so do I. Because I'm a big Ozark fan, and I really like sort of the journey that his character goes down. I mean, there's a few parallels you can make sort of between his descent into darkness and that of Walter White in Breaking Bad. And it's good to see again actors who are probably playing against type a little bit. He doesn't fully go Heisenberg or anything like that. But
just before you say too much, I haven't finished Ozark. I watched like the first season, and then I think because there was a break, I lost interest or didn't come back to it. But I think I should go back to the beginning and just watch it all through.
Sure, it's got Jason Bateman, it's got Julia Garner. What more do you need?
It's true.
Laura Linney.
And that was my first introduction to Julia Garner.
As I think for most people. And since then, she's
awesome.
Ruth Langmore, an absolute force on the screen. Yeah, so this looks fun. It's like a bit of a thriller sort of action movie. I feel like I haven't seen Taron Egerton in a lot lately, but I wish I had because I think he's a really awesome actor. I love the Kingston movies. Was obviously really good in Rocket Man. Eddie the Eagle, which I still need to see, and the Tetris movie that I still got to see as well, which apparently is quite good.
I haven't seen Tetris, but I wouldn't say it's on my, I gotta go see that.
No, that's totally
But
fair.
if it's good, maybe I'll check it out.
So just for Taron.
I'll let you trial it and tell me if it's good.
Damn.
Why should both of us suffer?
Or enjoy it. Who knows? We shall see. But yeah, that's my 3.
Nice. Last one for me, Get Away. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for this.
I have not.
You and I both recently watched a trailer, new horror film with Nick Frost that just looks insane.
That looks bonkers.
It's kind of like they're on a sitcom stage, but then it's going to get real gory and gross and wild. It's called Crazy House. But it looks like he's doing a fair bit of horror lately because...
Is it another one?
Getaway is... it's got Nick Frost. It's got Aisling Bea.
Yep. Also, I love her. She's great.
Yeah, she was in that one with Paul Rudd, the series...
yeah, I know.
Where he's like a clone, but
yep.
I don't know. Whatever.
She's great.
Living with Myself.
That's the one.
And yeah, she's really good. I like her because she was also in a season of Taskmaster as well. But this kind of looks like a horror film, but maybe there'll be a bit of like tongue-in-cheek, like kind of acknowledging the tropes of some of those horror films as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it says in the trailer from the mind of Nick Frost, so I don't know if he also wrote it.
Oh, okay.
Which really interests me. But then it also says, and the freaks that did Tusk, Vivarium, and Mandy. And that has me going, I don't know now, because I love Mandy, but Tusk and Vivarium are shit.
I haven't seen either of them, so...
My brother watched Vivarium recently, and he was like, have you ever seen this movie? And before he even got it out, I was like, oh! So, yeah.
It keeps coming up as my recommended movies in, like, horror.
Not watch
Jesse
it.
Eisenberg, yeah?
Yeah. So, the trailer intrigued me. It was, like, that weird, eerie horror, but it's just too weird for me. And so, yeah, this kind of looks good, though. Like, the trailer really intrigued me. They're going away, obviously, from the fact that it's called Getaway, but everyone's kind of warning them about the place they're going. Like, you shouldn't go there. Like, nobody travels there. And they're like, well, we're going to do it anyway.
Because the movie needs to happen.
Yeah, and they're getting a lot of, like, stares from, like, creepy old people and stuff. Like, very Wicker Man type vibes. So
okay, cool.
I love the Wicker Man, both versions of it, with Nicolas Cage is much funnier, but the original's great too. So, yeah, I'm down for this. This looks pretty good. And again... I stopped it halfway because I was like, looks good, but I'm getting too much. Gotta pause it.
Pause and
yeah, that was
it.
Get Away.
Should we get away to some mashups?
Let's do it.
They did the mash. They did the movie mash. The movie mash. It's like a plot theme smash. They did the mash. It might turn out trash. They did the mash. They did the movie mash. Wow.
We will take it in turns to read out pitches for existing movies with a slight twist based on the theme of the week. The goal is to guess the new mashup movie title, which ideally should be a play on words or a pun, if you will. Today, because we looked at Back to the Future Part 3, we are going to be Westerns for our theme. So, for example, if I was describing the story of a father who takes his family on a cross-country trip to an old-timey bar, you might say the film was called National Saloon's Vacation. That's the standard. Don't tell me that's one of yours.
Yep!
We've done it!
But
you should have stopped me before I got to the end of it.
But I called it something different.
What'd you call it?
National Lamb Sloon's Vacation.
Lamb Sloons? What's a lamb saloon?
A lamb saloon.
Oh, lamb saloon.
Yeah. That was that. Oh, yeah. Good. We're going to double up.
A saloon that exclusively caters to lambs.
Lamb Saloon Vacation.
Lamb Saloon Vacation.
Yeah.
Oh, good start. Alrighty, let's jump in. Since I already stole one away from you, I better kick things off.
You better.
After making a speech to never negotiate with terrorists, the president's mode of transport is hijacked and his family is put in danger as the hijackers take the reins. Whilst the protocol is for him to be evacuated, He says nay and saddles up to fight the terrorists single-handedly.
Is it Air Horse One?
It is Air Horse One. Oh! We're back, baby doll.
We're mashing.
We're mashing.
Okay, I'll return to. When a former student returns to his high school in Richmond, he gets rolling with the basketball team to get them back in a winning shape. He sets tough rules, gets the whip cracking, and locks them out of the gym until their academic performance improves, before they can get their hooves back on the basketball court and achieve more for themselves.
Is it Coach Horson Carter?
No.
Oh, no.
No, we went really
I was
early.
so confident, too.
No. That's good, too, but it's not that.
Well, it's not that movie?
It is that movie.
Okay.
You're thinking of something that horses might be pulling.
Yeah, a cart.
No, but something that's a little bit more grandiose. Quite often gets involved in some like highway robberies back at this time.
Oh, is it Stagecoach Carter?
He's done it!
You're unbelievable.
Oh!
There he is.
It was so similar to my answer too. That's wild.
Yeah, you're almost there.
Oh my goodness. And I was
Stagecoach
confident
Carter.
too.
I know.
There's nothing more emasculating than going to press that button.
No. You don't get to press the button.
Oh, you sweet thing, you. That's what you say. That's what you say. Alrighty. A 30-something bachelor who attends single-parent meetings to round up women meets a troubled 12-year-old, and the two become unlikely friends. The man helps him with his studies and in return finally puts on his responsible hat.
Just don't know what the movie is.
Would you like some actors?
Please.
Hugh Grant and Nicholas Hoult.
This is good. Is it about a cowboy?
He's done it!
You're unbelievable.
Oh! It is about a cowboy.
Very good. Very good.
Every time I went to write it, I kept writing cowdoy.
Cowdoy.
It's cowdoy.
Cowdoy's in the podcast. All right.
Alrighty, I'm ready.
Set in the hills of Austria, this musical tells the tale of a conflicted nun who takes on a job as a governess for a widower and his family. Quickly building up a rapport with the kids that has them often horsing around, our main character quickly falls in love with their father and has to kick into gear to work out what her path might hold.
So I know the movie.
Yep.
I'm struggling with the item. I heard...
so you're thinking about like horsing around and kicking. Quite often, I was trying to work out how to get the fact that you've got a bit of a cross-species blend that creates this animal.
Oh, a cross-species
blend?
blend?
Yeah, when like a different... They sort of create another animal that starts with an M.
Oh.
And they're saying they kick like a...
The sound of music?
He's done it!
You're unbelievable.
Oh!
The sound of music.
No, it was good. It was good.
The sound of music.
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
There it is.
Okay.
We're back. Alrighty.
I don't think we are.
After attending the Broadway show of her longtime rival, a woman's fiancé gives her the boot in favor of the star. Years later, she returns looking incredibly youthful thanks to a special potion. Her rival, the now wife of her ex, also takes the potion, and the two put their foot in it when they realize it has made them immortal. They compete for the affection of the man, and things get spiky as they keep attacking each other in increasingly humorous ways.
What is this movie?
So it is Meryl Streep, Bruce Willis, and Goldie Hawn. You've definitely seen it at your Blockbuster video on the shelf.
Oh, okay.
It's called Death Becomes Her.
Oh, I've heard about this movie. Can I have it again then now that I know the title of the movie?
And I'll put some big old emphasis on some words. After attending the Broadway show of her long-time rival, a woman... Sorry, I accidentally
I've got it. That's fine.
Oh, great.
Is it Death Becomes Spur?
He's done it! Oh!
Cool. Nice. Very good.
What gave it away? Was it the boot, their foot in it, or things get spiky?
I think it was the spiky. Spiky boots.
Spiky boots. All right.
All right. Oh.
Is this your last one?
No, second last one.
All right.
On their way to start a new life at a sheep farm in rural Virginia, this family comes across a truck crash on the highway and becomes tied up with the truck owner's dog as they adopt the adorable collie and adjust to rural life.
Okay, so I know the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if have you given clues to the
Yeah,
word?
the fact that they become tied up with the truck owner's dog. Buford does this at the start of Back to the Future 3. That's classic. You've already said the title.
How do you mix it together? Do you just go Lasui?
He's done it!
Oh! Look, I'm disappointed that Lassie didn't come to my mind quicker. Lasui?
Lasui?
Oh.
I did preface my mashups today with Mr. Brown saying they're not my best quality. But we'll get there.
These are the best you've ever done.
Thanks. He's a good liar. Go for it, mate. Keep us going.
A student who regularly skips school is thirsty for another adventure before he graduates. So he decides to pretend to be sick again so he can ditch. His friend is at home with a hoarse throat, but he encourages him to come along and drink the day in. While out, their principal breaks into his house on all fours to prove he isn't sick in the hopes of lapping up the consequences doled out to the student.
I know what the movie is. I've spent a lot of time with it in the last few weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Clues, I'm like, I had a few things in mind. Mm-hmm. Oh, is it Ferris Bueller's Day Trough?
He's done it! Oh!
That's a good one. That's a good one.
It was Ferris Bueller's Day Trough.
That's good. A day trough. You're shaking a day trough.
Ferris Bueller's Day Trough.
It's Seamus.
Spoken like
Seamus' favourite movie. I didn't even invent movies back then.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Like
it's almost as if your future depended on it.
Oh my God. It'd be a perfect Ferris character. Anyway, here's my last one. In a mythical world, a young teenager's conflicting ideals to his clan's leader, which is also his father, leave him to be wheeled into a unique fighting school where he has to shut the doors on all conflict, befriend an injured creature, and work together to help his people roll towards a new future.
Okay. I'm struggling with the movie.
It's an animated movie.
An animated movie where he's on an adventure. It's a mythical world.
Yeah, it's a bit Viking-like. It's
Viking-like. Okay.
Yes, and there's mythical creatures involved.
Dragons?
Yeah, I would say dragons.
All right. And
A famous-
it was rolling.
Yeah.
Well, but the word is already in it. The word I'm thinking of is already in it. Is it not? Is it How to Train Your Dragon?
Yeah.
The word I'm thinking of is train, not that rolling word.
No, you can think of another vehicle with wheels.
Carriage?
Nope.
Coach?
Nope. Already done that one. I don't do double ups.
What other vehicles with wheels are there in the West?
Well, it's getting dragged by a horse, like a horse and
cart. Horse and buggy. Horse and... Oh my goodness.
He's got it. He's got it.
Gonna paint a wagon, gonna paint it good. How to Train Your Wagon.
He's got it.
Oh dear. It was really good, I'm sorry. This wouldn't come to mind.
I know, clearly.
My goodness.
Bit toothless there, Mr. Brown. Anyway, kick on.
Alrighty. An archaeologist treasure hunter is at risk of being fired from his daytime job as a professor. He shoots off on a new adventure with a young gun greaser he doesn't yet know is his son. The two use a unique head to guide them to a hidden civilization built by aliens and must find it before the Soviets unlock its power to take aim at the world.
I know what the movie is, unfortunately.
Seem to have reached the age where life stops giving us things and starts taking them away.
So I'm thinking of like a gun.
Mm-hmm. It's another word for a gun.
Like a revolver?
What's another word for a gun and a revolver that rhymes with one of the words in this? Just do what I did with wagon.
It's not crystal.
It is crystal.
Crystal. Oh, that's good. It's Indiana Jones in the Kingdom of the Pistol Skull.
He's done it! Oh!
The
lights go off, yeah. They're like, get out of here, they say. All right, let me just get them lights back on.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
We've got a thing with heat and mashups. It doesn't become a great combination.
I'm melting! Melting! Oh, what a world! What a world!
Alrighty, guys, we are going to wrap it there. As always, remember to like, subscribe, share it around. We're doing like a weekly reminder of some fun things lately, because obviously dedication for the year 12s. We did our Harry Potter pod last week as well, so go check that out. We heat in that pod, man, we lost our minds. We were off chops, and I edited very little of it out, so enjoy that. Enjoy slowly watching us lose our mind. Not even slowly, quickly watching us
within
lose our
Within
mind.
7 minutes, we have
good. Verification there.
I was a recent watcher of the latest episode of The Fifth Period. But yeah, check it out. I had a good time during that one. And yeah, back-to-back video pods, Mr. Brown.
Potentially back-to-back, because
like the trilogy of Back to the Future.
That's it, because the ep we're doing next week, thematically, it's just going to look cool, and maybe we'll get some costumes out. We'll see how we go. We'll see how we go.
We still are in a spooky season.
So true. But we got to be getting back to 1985. Is there anything you had to say, Mr. Boylan?
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Keep watching good movies as always, and we'll catch you at the next film club.
Catch you at the next film club, guys.
And Vern.
Nice. No one's going to get it. Go back to the start of the pod. You'll get it.
You'll get it. See you later. Goodbye.
Catch you guys.